Good evening and welcome to ITV News. This is Monday night's calendar and here are tonight's main stories. A Yorkshire-based charity issues an urgent appeal for funds to support families struggling with debt after Christmas. The Addiction Recovery Group doing their bit to get themselves and the community clean. And where do donkeys go for their Christmas holidays? We'll be finding out. Thanks for joining us. First this evening, a Yorkshire-based charity has launched an urgent appeal for funds as it prepares to deal with a spike in demand from families struggling with money after the festive period. Now, Christians Against Poverty is aiming to raise at least £250,000 to provide people with emergency aid. It comes as it's revealed that 1 in 4 families are having to limit the amount of gas they use due to money issues. Well, our reporter Hannah Norbury has been speaking to one woman from Bradford who's been struggling to live on just £30 a month after falling into debt.
Polly Mason knows all too well how hard it is to move forward when you're in debt.
I was in so much debt. I was drowning in the debt. It was horrendous. It was absolutely horrendous.
Polly used to be a full-time carer for her granddaughter, but when she moved into assisted living, her benefits were stopped. She then went on to Universal Credit, but was later told she'd been overpaid and had money taken away. She found herself living on just £30 a month.
Didn't want to put eating on because I couldn't really afford it. I don't even know how I survived. I just lived on toast, really. I didn't want to get up. I'm gonna cry.
So, Polly, how are you at the moment? How's things been?
Really well, yeah.
Good.
But help was at hand through the charity Christians Against Poverty.
So we were able to give her some support for a food shop. We were able to give her some support for gas and electricity. And even at some point we helped to top up her phone just so she wasn't so isolated.
But Polly's not alone. Recent figures show that 1/3 of people living in Yorkshire and the Humber are struggling with debt repayments. 18% skipped meals at least once a month, and 26% limited their electricity and gas usage.
Hi, you're through to Scott at Christians Against Poverty. Could I take your CAP reference number, please?
The charity's now launched an urgent appeal to raise £260,000 to help families in need over Christmas.
So when I first started, we could get people out of debt, and then with a bit of money coaching, you thought, well, they're going to be okay. They're going to have enough money coming in, they're going to be all right. Now we're finding that people are really struggling and they're going back into debt because there's just not enough money coming in.
With more and more people getting into debt and struggling to stay out of it, people are being urged to seek help sooner rather than later.
I feel loads better. Like, you know, that I did get to that light at the end of the tunnel. You know, and it's such a relief. It is such a big relief.
Reaching out for help opened new doors for Polly, and she hopes speaking out will help others this Christmas. Hannah Norbury, ITV News, Bradford.
And it's good to see that Polly got the help she needed. In other news now, the body of a woman has been pulled from a lake at one of Yorkshire's busiest parks. Emergency services were called to Waterloo Lake at Roundhay Park in Leeds after concerns were raised for the safety of a woman shortly after 6 yesterday evening. She was confirmed to have died a short time later. Police are not treating the death as suspicious. People living in Tadcaster are being encouraged to give their views on plans for new flood defences there. The town's bridge partially collapsed in December 2015 due to flooding. Now, locals can give their views on plans to reduce flood risk for residents and businesses and add greater resilience against climate change in the future. Members of a West Yorkshire drug and alcohol recovery group are doing their bit to get themselves and the community clean. The Leeds-based charity carries out community outreach projects across the city and funds them by selling soap, which service users make in workshops. Natalie Higgins explains.
Cleaning Leeds in the most inspiring way. And it all starts with a bar of soap. Chris set up Getting Clean to give former addicts a chance to rehabilitate and give back to the community. He uses his own lived experience to help people change.
I kept seeing people coming back through services, more and more traumatised, and I realised that with a new approach, with what I'd learnt in recovery, we could help people find purpose whilst giving back to the community.
These soap workshops are a chance for recovering addicts to meet up, socialise and gain vital work experience.
I know what recovery can do, and it's just about giving them something back because I'm in a position where I can.
I'm seeing my family a lot more. I've got unsupervised contact with my daughter now. Things are moving so forward.
It's all so therapeutic, you know, and it's a good set of people, you know.
Ross started drinking and taking drugs in his teens and says these workshops and the support from others has helped him on his road to recovery.
Addiction itself is very isolating, you know, like physically, behind closed doors, and it even keeps you locked in your own head, you know. So having activities and sessions and groups like this, it allows you to socialise.
Money raised through selling the soap in stores across Leeds goes back into the charity to help fund projects for the community. Here, service users are cleaning up an area where there's often antisocial behaviour and drug misuse. For Chris and the charity, it's an opportunity to show that people with addictions can give back.
To see people coming in that are coming from a background of lived experience, giving back to the community, helping out, is massive, and it helps people look past the antisocial aspects of addiction, helps us challenge stigma, and it helps people see that there's a way out of addiction as well. We carry that message of hope.
It's getting clean in every sense of the word, and reducing crime and grime at the same time. Natalie Higgins, ITV News, Leeds.
OK, it's time for some sport now, and it's been a very merry Christmas for Leeds United.
Xero Accounting Software sponsors ITV Regional Sports Report.
Yes, and Chris joins me now. Did you have a good Christmas?
I had a lovely Christmas, Lara, yeah, did you?
Yeah, I did, thank you. What
Good,
about
good.
Leeds United, did they?
They've had pretty much a perfect Christmas, Lara. You could say it was a white Christmas for Leeds United. Maximum points for Leeds over the festive period, which puts them at top of the Championship going into the new year. Once again, Leeds dominated possession against a pretty resolute Derby side yesterday and had to wait for their breakthrough, but when it came, it was a thing of beauty. A wonderful team move capped off by Brendan Aronson's cool finish. So Leeds, 2 points clear at the top from Sheffield United in second, who it must be said are in serious need of some reinforcements in the January sales. Another lovely team move was finished by Andre Brooks for his first Blades goal, but West Brom equalised before half-time, and that's how it stayed. The Blades really are down to the bare bones with injuries hitting, so manager Chris Wilder will hope the new owners will back him when the transfer window opens in a couple of days. Meanwhile, Sheffield Wednesday's recent run of good form was ended at Preston. Josh Windass had equalised for the Owls, but they went on to lose 3-1. OK, dropping down into League One, and Huddersfield were staring at a first league defeat since the start of October against bottom side Burton, no less, before Michael Hellick spared their blushes with an 88th minute equaliser. Barnsley made it 3 away wins in a row with a 3-1 victory at Peterborough. Donovan Pine scored the first before a clever set-piece routine saw Davis Keeler-Dunn double the Tykes lead. Peterborough pulled a goal back, but the points were sealed in style by the left boot of John Russell there. Rotherham drew 1-1 at home to Stockport. Hakeem Odafin with their goal. Will Evans scored a nice headed goal, but Mansfield were beaten 2-1 at Reading. And in League Two, Chesterfield went ahead at Bradford through Armando Dobra's 4th goal in 6 matches, but the Bantams weren't behind for long. Bobby Poynton's cheeky flick bringing the scores level, and then Antoni Sarcevic seized on a mistake at the back and punished that sloppy defending to win it for Bradford. Elsewhere, Jordan Gibson went from hero to villain, scoring a great goal to put Doncaster ahead at Colchester, and then being sent off after Colchester's equaliser for moving the ball back at a free kick. I suspect the referee actually forgot he'd already shown Gibson a yellow card there. It certainly came as a shock to the player when the red card came out. And Harrogate drew 1-1 at Fleetwood after Josh March's headed equaliser inside the opening 10 minutes there. And finally from me, the Sheffield Steelers are back in action tonight when they take on the Manchester Storm at the Sheffield Arena. The Steelers will be looking to build on Saturday's morale-boosting 3-2 win in Nottingham. That result brought to an end a 4-match losing run for last season's Grand Slam champions, who are struggling to replicate that form in what has been a hectic season so far on both home ice and abroad. I'm sure that will help them get back to winning ways, the Steelers. I'll be back, Lara, after those games on New Year's Day with the rest of the sport then. So look forward to it then.
I'm going to see you next year then.
Yeah, we'll see you next year, yeah.
My word, right. Thank you very much. Yeah, yeah. Now, it may still be Twixmas, but who's planning their next holiday? Maybe a cruise or somewhere warm? Well, not so. 3 hard-working donkeys from Blackpool Beach. They packed their suitcases and came to Leeds, to the Meanwood Valley Urban Farm, for some well-earned rest. Katie Oscroft has been to find out whether they're having a good time or not.
Sorry? Trooper, Alfie and Reggie haven't stopped all summer, so a nice muddy field on the outskirts of Leeds is just what they need. Their 9 to 5 is taking children for rides on Blackpool Beach, where they're owned by a company called Real Donkeys, who make sure they don't work too hard.
Trooper and Alfie know each other really well.
Yeah.
It looks as though Reggie is now part of the gang, which is nice. When we take them back in under the barn, we'll give them a good brush, pick the hoofs so that the mud's not in the hoofs, and then give them their dinner. Now then, Reggie. Did get a message to say that he likes a good cuddle.
Aww. Volunteer Rebecca had a ride on Alfie in Blackpool. Now she's helping him get into the holiday mood here.
We help out with walking them out to the fields and with grooming them, and I got to clean them out this morning, which is not quite so exciting.
I groomed them.
Yeah, well, you did some grooming, that's right. Now, their favourite tricks is rolling in the mud straight after you've groomed them. So
that is funny.
They've had a good go at that as soon as we've walked them out.
Especially Alfie.
You're lovely, aren't you? Hey?
The donkeys are getting plenty of attention from visitors.
Which one's your favourite?
That one over there. Grey one.
The grey one?
The black one. They'll probably like it here, I think.
There's every sign they're enjoying their Yorkshire holiday. In fact, Alfie, Trooper and Reggie wish you were here. Katie Oscroft, ITV News, Leeds.
I think he's a naughty one, that Reggie. And I hope they've got thick coats because it's going to be blustery for the next few days. Here's Kerry.
Today's forecast: seafood and sugar cube towns. TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Hello, very good evening to you. Beautiful sunrise first thing this morning, and we have had a respite with fairly dry and bright conditions with even some blue sky and sunshine, but it's a very lively end to 2024. Strong winds dominate tonight and tomorrow, especially to northern parts of the region, and then rain by the evening of New Year's Eve, unfortunately, and then behind that a really cold, dramatically cold start as we head into 2025. So warm and windy today. This system coming through during the second half of tomorrow, and then we've got another system joining it into the early part of Wednesday, New Year's Day. But as it pushes its way southwards, it will bring the colder air from the north as we head into the first couple of days of 2025. So overnight tonight we stay mild, we stay very blustery, particularly over higher ground, and fairly cloudy, but mostly dry. Those temperatures not really shifting much below 6 or 7 Celsius tonight. So still a blustery and cloudy start as we head into tomorrow morning. It's not really until the afternoon, early evening that we look to the northwest for outbreaks of rain starting to develop, pushing onto the Dales and the Pennines, becoming heavy and persistent as we head towards the evening. On top of that, strong and gusty winds, particularly for North Yorkshire. We could see gusts in excess of 60, potentially 70 miles an hour right over the tops. Along with those strong winds, another spell of rain working its way in from the south and west as we head overnight and into the early hours. So it's not great for New Year's Eve if you're outdoors. A thoroughly unsettled start on Wednesday, and then colder from the north for later.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Thank you very much, Kerry. Well, that's it for now. I'm back with calendar tomorrow at the earlier time of 5 past 5 for our last programme of the year. Hope to see you then. Bye-bye.